Welcome to my channel, crew. What you're about to hear might be the most disturbing development yet in the Sister Wives universe. For over a decade, Kody and Robyn Brown have fought to protect their image as the last stable branch of the family. But now, everything's collapsing from the inside. Based on inside reports exclusively, Robyn's oldest son, Dayton, has been discreetly disowned, not only from the show, but also from the family. What began as a mere argument has apparently escalated to an all-out collapse that no one from TLC anticipated. And before we get any further, yes, this does include legal filings, covert housing arrangements, and a choice Kody and Robyn made that left Dayton heartbroken. It all started several months ago when production sources saw something odd. Dayton, who had always seemed to be on good terms with his mother, was nowhere to be found from every Sister Wives-related taping, social media update, and family event. Fans initially believed he opted for secrecy. However, our insiders confirm otherwise. According to them, Dayton's name was quietly removed from future TLC schedules, and their ASIN may surprise you. Apparently, tension had been building behind the scenes. Dayton, having grown into an adult with his own agenda and opinions, began to question how much of his private life was being utilized as storyline material. He desired to take a step back. Robyn and Kody, though, reportedly perceived that as being unfaithful to them. One source said, Kody doesn't like someone to own their own narrative. To him, the family eyes one brand, and you can't just walk away from the brand. Then, according to the same sources, a heated fight, one that culminated with Dayton supposedly packing up his clothes and leaving. But here's where it gets ugly. Crew, our source divulged that not only did Kody deny him financial assistance, he reportedly cut off all contact. The same man who refers to himself as the patriarch of a plural family for the first time has been accused of turning his back on one of the children, who stood with him through the family's most trying times. And Robyn? She's caught in the middle, or at least that's what she wants people to believe. Because according to those closest to the situation, she wasn't as powerless as she pretends. In fact, the decision to remove Dayton from upcoming filming wasn't Kody's alone. It was hers. And when the truth behind that choice comes to light, you'll understand why people are calling this the biggest betrayal yet. In accordance with sources who are close to production, the actual reason for Dayton's disappearance was not merely about privacy. It was about control, and what he had learned while developing a side project that allegedly struck too close to home for both Robyn and Kody. Sources say that Dayton, having quietly learned about media production and communications in school, started assembling a digital portfolio, one with behind-the-scenes accounts and video from his life growing up on Sister Wives. Not intended to be malicious, they say, but honest. But when Robyn discovered what he was going to publish, she reportedly panicked. The issue wasn't that Dayton wanted to share his story. It was that he was going to share the truth, raw, the version of family life that fans never got to see. The long days on set, their hearsed arguments, the tension that mounted once cameras stopped rolling, when Kody discovered he had allegedly lost it. He confronted Dayton face-to-face, accusing him of betrayal. "You're my son," one source recalls him shouting, "and you're going to ruin everything we built." It was the words, witnesses say, that cracked something in Dayton. He explained to Kody that what they'd created wasn't family, it was prison. Following that encounter, Dayton left packing his bags. However, before he departed, he informed his mother of something that's been ringing in fan circles ever since. "You can't keep me safe from the truth anymore." That was the last anyone saw of him at the Flagstaff house. Within weeks, his name was erased from TLC forms. His phone number was redacted. And poof, Dayton Brown, the quiet, devoted son who had always stood up for his mother, vanished. Robyn's public rationale was straightforward. She explained that Dayton needed space to concentrate on his own life. But according to insiders, behind closed doors, she was livid. Not because he departed, but because he took with him hours of personal video footage and journal entries describing what it was actually like to live within the Sister Wives dynasty. There's a rumor that he attempted to try to contact Christine's family afterwards and was cautioned against it. Some even say that TLC's lawyers approached him with a reminder not to disclose in connection with his appearance releases of years past, but Dayton didn't vanish in silence. He went dark, all right, disappeared from social media, wouldn't respond to messages. But those who are close to him think he's working on something. something that could potentially finally bring to light what really happened behind the scenes in Kody and Robyn's home. And if gossip is correct, this project would make the forbidden tape seem like the prequel. The only question now is whether Dayton will ever utter, or whether someone will silence him before he does. Weeks following Dayton's hushed departure, odd events started to occur in the vicinity of the Brown family Flagstaff residence. The first was minor. A delivery man said he spotted boxes piled outside the garage with "archive" scrawled on them. Next came rumors that TLC executives had flown into Arizona for a secret meeting late into the evening with Kody and Robyn. Sources close to the production company say the subject of that meeting was one word: containment. Dayton, by what's been leaked, had access to personal recordings, not only from his phone, but from an old hard drive used on early Sister Wives seasons. That drive, sources say, contained raw production footage, unedited, unfiltered, and, as it turns out, never meant to be seen by the public, as Kody put it. Cast members who worked on the first seasons verified that most of the family's actual tension, the money fights and the instances when Kody lost his temper, were always edited out before broadcast. Those documents, presumed destroyed years ago, may have been duplicated and archived, and now, for the first time, beyond TLC's control. Robyn was reported to be in fear. Neighbors said she was nervous, pacing the driveway at midnight, on the phone for hours. One source asserts she said to a producer, "If Dayton makes this public, they'll make us into villains." But the reality, sources close to the production say, was worse. Dayton didn't need to make it public. All he needed to do was exist beyond their control. Because the Sister Wives brand survives on image: the devoted wife, the persecuted husband, the devoted family. And Dayton's absence shattered that fantasy. Fans began inquiring online. Reddit comment sections went crazy. "Where's Dayton?" Trended on social media. Anytime TLC attempted to promote new content, comments rolled in demanding answers. That's when the story started to change. Tabloids were told by a source close to the family that Dayton was dealing with personal boundaries and had decided to take a break for his own health. But what they said only made it worse, because within hours, followers could see the quote was suspiciously similar to language that had been used in TLC's previous damage control press releases, and then there was the leak. A Reddit account posted 2 fuzzy screenshots that seemed to be taken from a private family conversation chat group. One read, "He knows too much. I told him to shut his trap or we'll have to make it official," and was supposedly from Kody. It was erased within minutes. The account was gone. But screenshots circulated on fan pages in an hour. Was it true? No one could demonstrate it. But the impact was instantaneous. The Brown family closed down all public communication for weeks. TLC cut back on live interviews. And in the silence that followed, fans started believing the unthinkable, that Dayton's banishment wasn't a family squabble. It was a cover-up. Because if that message was real, then the story wasn't about a young man walking away. It was about a secret someone was going to bury at any cost. And the further this goes, crew, the more it appears that Dayton could be the only individual remaining who can substantiate what actually occurred within that house. Weeks became months, and the silence regarding Dayton's vanishing was deafening. TLC was mum, the Brown family fell silent, and Robyn would not speak out. But something changed when fans caught tiny hints disguised in plain sight, little, nearly. Accidental breadcrumbs that indicated Dayton hadn't fully disappeared. One Reddit user said they saw him in a coffee shop in Flagstaff, alone with a laptop, wearing headphones, and having folders printed on them labeled draft cuts. Another fan took an oath they saw him exiting a print shop late at night with what appeared to be bundles of photographs and scribbled down notes. Originally, they were written off as coincidence, but when several witnesses reported the same thing, Dayton watching old footage, talking under his breath about truth and lies, people started to pay attention, and then something occurred that nobody anticipated. One of the YouTube channels with less than 100 subscribers posted a 12-second video called Dayton Speaks. The footage was rough, low quality, and obviously filmed in secret. In it, the voice of a young man recited, "They think they own the story, but it's mine too." The face was hidden, and within a matter of hours, the video had been removed. But not before it had already been replicated on dozens of fan sites and retweeted thousands of times. The timing was too good to be ignored. The clip came days after TLC signed off on contracts for the upcoming season of Sister Wives, and just before Dayton was officially left out of all upcoming episode recaps. It was like someone wanted the world to hear that he wasn't gone, he was watching. In private, Kody and Robyn were said to be beside themselves. Insiders claim they hired lawyers, insisting the clip be removed from all sites. But that only added fuel to the fire. Why would they want it off so badly if the clip is a hoax? Why freak out if it's real? One of Dayton's former TLC employees came forward anonymously, saying there was more to Dayton's tale, that he had complained to executives about unpaid family, royalties, about contracts his parents had signed when he was a child, and about scenes shot under false promises. He said he wanted accountability, not publicity. But instead of answers, he was threatened, and that's when the trend was apparent. Every individual who had attempted to speak against the Sister Wives storyline, from the production staff to family, members themselves, had either disappeared from the limelight or suddenly stopped talking. But Dayton was different from the rest. He had nothing to lose. Individuals familiar with him characterized him as composed, deliberate, and resolute. He wasn't out for revenge. He was out for truth. As one insider phrased it, he's not out to ruin his family. He's out to ruin the lie. And that's why TLC and the Browns may be more nervous than ever. Because, as per messages going around in off-the-record fan groups, Dayton didn't just retain his old footage, he had it backed up. Several backups. If that's the case, then there's no amount of digging Kody and Robyn can do to cover up this tale. It's only a matter of time before the truth comes back to haunt them. And when it does, not only will it be the demise of Sister Wives, it will be the end of the illusion that sustained it. But first, one last twist. And it's the reason why fans think that Dayton could be ahead of the game even now. Last week, something occurred that none of the Brown family sources can account for. At midnight, an anonymous email was distributed to several reality TV gossip websites. No signature, no name, only a link and a sentence. This is the real reason they kicked him out. All the outlets who attempted to open the link discovered the same thing. A video file named SW Dayton, cut full MP4. And then, before anyone could even download it, the link died. Wiped out in minutes. The source was gone, the email address no longer valid, and the file was erased, or so they believed, because just 12 hours after, a new Reddit account was created with the username SW Truth Teller. The account had just one message: if anything happens to me, it's all scheduled. Along with it was a countdown timer, no caption, no context, just numbers counting down from 7 days. There was chaos in the streets. Fans began panicking. Was it true? Was someone else mimicking his name to issue a threat? No one could assure that. But the anxiety reached its peak when Robyn was spotted outside her Flagstaff residence for the first time in weeks, visibly upset, holding her phone and refusing to respond to any questions. Neighbors claimed to have seen police at the residence that evening. TLC gave a cryptic statement the following morning, stating they were aware of unauthorized online activity involving private family material. But here's the part that sends chills down everyone who's been tracking this story, because someone took a screen capture of that countdown clock right before it went offline. At the bottom of the screen, in light gray letters, were 2 words: Part 1. If this is actually Dayton's work, then he's not done. Not by a long way. And if that document, whatever's inside it, is released, it won't just alter the way fans perceive Kody and Robyn. It could bring down the entire Sister Wives legacy in a single click. Time is running out. 7 days. The question isn't whether or not it drops. It's what happens when it does.